Michael Carrick is apparently set to become the full-time manager at Manchester United. In this video, we'll have a conversation, we'll go through the news, and we talk about ultimately Michael Carrick going forward in his future. I mean, it's an international break. United's next game is in about 10, 11 days, which is just ridiculous. But this is what's being reported. It's come out from quite a few sources in the past few days, and this is what is being said. So, Manchester United manager or caretaker manager Michael Carrick is becoming increasingly likely to become that permanent manager at the club. Now, while sources say that if he does go from a caretaker to a permanent, it does kind of add a lot of pressure, and we've seen ultimately how that has gone with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Carrick is definitely leading the race at the moment, and I think if you look at the reports about all the managerial situation, we've seen Spurs have got De Zerbi, Enrique's looking likely to stay at PSG, Ancelotti's at Brazil, Tuchel obviously at England. So it's going to be difficult to get in that top level manager. Nagelsmann managing Germany. I think all the roads, if you're looking at it, do lead down to Michael Carrick. And I think there are probably more negatives than positives, but there definitely are positives that keeping Michael Carrick. I think he's someone who, again, in this short space of time, his interim period has been very, very good. And the way the football that we've been playing has been fantastic. He's got a good balance in his coaching staff between Steve Holland, Johnny Evans, Jonathan Woodgate, all these, Travis Binion, all working very, very well. There's a good blend in there. Then you also have obviously Michael Carrick himself, and I think that's something that is key. The blend has been there. I think the football that we've been playing is very, very good. He's just let the players do their thing, and as I said, 7 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat in 10 games is a pretty impressive record. And I think you look at some of the performances and manners in which United have won games is been very impressive as well. Beating City, Arsenal in your first 2 games is impressive. The way in which we played against Villa, which could have been a very tough game, we found ways to come back. I think we've had all the sort of games you can imagine under Michael Carrick, last minute winners, convincing games. So we've had quite a few positives under Carrick, and I think that's definitely something that's there. Obviously, he gets the players now, working with them from a period of time. They've built very good relationships, and the players are obviously speaking very highly of Carrick. If you look at some of the negatives, he is inexperienced. He would be a yes man for the Glazers. Is he the right guy to take Manchester United into playing into Europe, into the Champions League? But again, the pressure is going to be high. It's going to be a lot of tough games. If you look at the times in which United have had games in quick succession, most of the time, I think both times we've lost that game. I think it was Spurs to West Ham. Well, we didn't lose, but we got a draw, and it was a very lethargic performance. So he's going to have to learn and develop how to increase that training patterns to meet the demand in the games in which United are going to have. I think he's someone who, again, has showed a bit of inexperience before, which we know he has. But listen, I think all the roads right now are leading for Carrick. And if he continues this job in the way in which he's been playing, I think it is certainly very, very impressive. I think the confidence in his team, the talent that he's imposed has been good. But yeah, I think Manchester United at the moment, apparently we're not going to be rushing into any decision. United want to see which managers come available, which I don't think many will. Even De Zerbi has been kind of moved out of the race. Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Ancelotti, Enrique, all these managers look out of the race at the moment. I think if Manchester United it's going to be difficult, because if we do keep Michael Carrick and he wins the next 2 games and he gets United into Champions League places, and then you say he starts off next season, we probably go out, or not probably, but we go out the cup early, we're not looking good in the Champions League, and maybe we lose our first game, there's going to be a lot of criticism on why you actually did keep Carrick, and all the inexperience is going to come in. Then if you have the roles reversed, you get rid of Carrick, you bring in another manager, whether that is a top prospect, and they kind of slip up in the first few games, then there's going to be that sort of conversation where, why did Manchester United bring in a manager? They should have kept Carrick, he got the player. So it is a difficult position. I don't trust Manchester United ultimately to make the right decision. You just hope with the resources that we have that United can go and make the decision that's best for the football club. But yeah, my personal opinion is we'll see what happens at the end of the season. Right now, I think Carrick, he's got United in a good place. We're looking good at the moment. He's a very, very good manager. He's someone who gets the club. He's just let the simple things happen. We've played a good brand of football. We've got some big results in that time. We're looking increasingly likely to get into that Champions League places. And if he doesn't stay, I think this interim position would probably be one of the best we've had, definitely since Sir Alex Ferguson anyway. up there with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reign anyway. So yeah, listen, it's an interesting thing. Carrick's talked about himself, how he's not really thinking about it too much. He doesn't feel too much pressure. He's happy managing at Manchester United, but ultimately he probably does want to join United. I mean, this was probably the right step for him. It doesn't look like it's too big of a club for him, and he's handled the pressure very, very well. But I think he couldn't have had it any better, really. He's come in 1 game a week. He's got to know the players. He's implemented his ways quite slowly. He's got Mainu, Casemiro. He's building good relationships all over the pitch. And again, we do look very, very good. Now, how long would this last? We don't know. We have had some tough times and tough results in that. I think the performance against West Ham wasn't great, and we got a draw in that. The performance against Everton, in my opinion, we defended very, very well, but we should have had a few goals. Newcastle, obviously, the loss was bad. But ultimately, I think Manchester United have to make the right decision. I think a conversation definitely needed to be had. And I think right now, I think it's too early to make a decision. I think come the end of the season, that's when I'll make a full conclusion. But it's looking increasingly likely at the moment that Carrick is becoming a permanent manager at Manchester United.